morning, everyone. I'm Richard Parr, and you are watching Sportuccino. It's so great to have you, whether you're watching live on Facebook, YouTube, or on Periscope, or even if you're listening back to this on iTunes or Stitcher as a podcast. If you haven't joined us before, we are a sports breakfast show, 30 minutes covering all different things related to sports, health, nutrition, fitness, and travel, and we have a fun time doing it. If you've got any questions for me, for our guests, if you want to get involved in the conversation, speak to us on the Periscope page, on Facebook, and on YouTube. We would love to hear from you. All right, let's start the day with our morning sports headlines. A Nathan Redmond goal gives Southampton a 1-0 advantage over Liverpool after the first leg of the EFL Cup semi-final. Chelsea get permission for a new 60,000 capacity Stamford Bridge. Floyd Mayweather says he's willing to come out of retirement to face Conor McGregor if he's paid $100 million. And Russell Westbrook's 18th triple-double of the season gives Oklahoma City Thunder a 103-95 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. Well, our poll this morning on our Twitter page is related to one of those headlines, and of course, it's got to be about that potential fight between Floyd Mayweather and the notorious Conor McGregor. Let's have a look at the poll. We want to know who would win a fight between Floyd Mayweather and the notorious Conor McGregor. Will it be a boxing match? Will it be a MMA style bout? What do you think? Could it be like that classic Muhammad Ali fight when he fought the wrestler, the Japanese star whose name forgets me? If you remember, let me know on the page. I've forgotten his Antonio Inoki, that was it. Muhammad Ali versus Antonio Inoki. Could it be like one of those fights? I'd love for you to let me know. Would it be Mayweather or would it be McGregor? Who would win a fight? Let us know on the Twitter page at Sportuccino. Let's have a quick look at the result of yesterday's poll. Yesterday we were talking about cricket. Alistair Cook supposed to be meeting with Andrew Strauss, discussing his future as the England cricket captain. We asked whether you thought he would stand down this week. 57% of you don't think he'll stand down, while 43% of you think he will. Pretty close call there. I think that's as pretty close as the decision will come. We'll have to wait and see. What do you think? Do you think he should stay on? Let us know on the Facebook page, on Periscope, and on YouTube. Should he stay as the England captain? I'd love to get your thoughts. Perhaps we should discuss who could be the future England captain. Could it be Joe Root? We'd love to hear from you. Now, as well as being active on Twitter, we're pretty active on Instagram as well, at Sportuccino. And one of the things we like to do is we like to inform you about some amazing sports statistics, bits of history. So let's have a look at what's on our Instagram page today. The first Australian Open took place in 1905. So that is all about the Australian Open. The first Australian Open took place in 1905, and can you believe the year has gone by so quickly that we're at another Australian Open, the 2017 version. We're going to be talking more in detail about that event in just a moment, but I want to tell you that today's show is brought to you by the award-winning magician Matt Parro. Matt Parro can absolutely wow the crowd. He can really impress your party, your corporate event, your wedding, your birthday. He's an amazing magician, and one of the top things that he does is iPad magic. And in fact, he's done something with tennis before. Have a look at what he did at Wimbledon.
Hi, I'm magician Matt Parro, here live at Wimbledon. In fact, I've got my iPad here and I've been looking at the Wimbledon app. So if we just open it up, you can see we've got scores and results, order of play, we've even got the shop. So if I press in there, there's things to buy like towels and key rings. If I go to accessories, you can see we can even get a tennis ball. In fact, let's see how good this one is.
Some amazing magic there with Matt Parro with technology. And by the magic of technology, I can now introduce you to our guest today. It's the tennis journalist Isabelle Musy, talking all things Australian Open. Isabelle, welcome to Sportuccino. How are you doing this morning?
Very good, thank you. Hello.
It's great to have you on the show. It's so exciting to start the year with the Australian Open once again. Djokovic going for his record seventh title in Melbourne. Is there anyone who can stop him? Can it be Murray?
Could be Murray, could be our Swiss Wawrinka again, and who knows what Nadal and Federer will do. I mean, it could be a bit early for them as they've been away, recovering from injuries, but I mean, they have the motivation, and it'll be a very interesting Australian Open for sure.
Yeah, Djokovic had a bit of a slide towards the end of last season, but he got that win over Murray last week in Qatar. Are we going to see an improved Djokovic? Are we going to see the Djokovic we saw at the start of 2016, start 2017?
That's interesting. I think he's found his motivation back. I mean, you could see. I actually didn't see the match, but I've read a lot about his battle against Murray in Doha last Saturday, and obviously he's. I mean, he lost his temper quite a few times, and I think he was really eager to just show that he's still the boss of tennis. So. I think we'll see the Djokovic we used to see. I think he's past his little crisis, you know, that he had after winning Roland Garros and trying to find new goals to set up. And yeah, it'll be very interesting for sure.
The draw takes place later on Thursday, and with Nadal and Federer ranked pretty low in the seedings, rarer than it normally is for them to be. I think they're around 9th and 12th, in fact. So is this draw really going to matter a lot more than it normally would for Murray and Djokovic? Because potentially, depending on what side Murray and Djokovic are on, they could face the likes of Nadal and Federer in something as early as the quarterfinals. Do you think that could really affect who could win this title?
For sure, the draw will be very important because of this situation. I mean, when you're number one or you're number two, you want to try and have easy first rounds. And if you face Federer in the third round, even though it's not the Federer it used to be, I mean, it's not an easy task at all. So the draw will definitely play a big role. Though, as they all say, if you want to win a Grand Slam, you need to beat them all. So you can't take too much. The draw can't be too important. You just have to take match after match and think that if you want to win, if you think you're able to win the big thing, then you're able to win any opponent. But for sure, I mean, it makes a difference to meet Federer in the third round, or to meet Nadal in the third round, rather than meeting them in the semifinals when you after having a few big matches under your belt already. And I mean, the big player, we know they power up as the tournament goes on. So for sure, it will be a different situation, and that will be very interesting to see how everyone takes that. But it could be Wawrinka as well, or Raonic, who faces Nadal or Federer in an early round. So the draw will be very interesting for sure.
You mentioned Wawrinka there. I was just thinking, he's a former Australian Open champion. He's a US Open champion. And yet he still doesn't get all the headlines like Djokovic gets, like Murray gets, like Federer and Nadal gets. Is that almost an advantage for him, that he can almost kind of work a little bit under the radar?
I don't know. Maybe it is. Yeah, he had big headlines after his big win in Roland Garros last year, and obviously after the US Open. But for sure, I mean, he's not up there, and he's the first one to say that he's not part of the big four because he hasn't won as many as they have. Though winning 3 Grand Slam, I mean, puts him in a very good position at every slams now, and I think all the other players, even though he's not in the headlines, all the players know that he's a very serious contender, that he's one of the favorites for each Grand Slam now. But I think Stan is happy probably with that, because he's quite shy. It wasn't easy for him to handle all the change that winning Grand Slams brought in his life. So it's probably good for him. But he trained a lot. He trained in Geneva. He had a special court there in a club with the same surface as the Australian Open. So he'll be ready for sure. And you can never count him out. But even though the media are not necessarily focusing on him at the moment.
Let's talk about the ladies' draw. You know, the top seed and defending champions, Angelique Kerber. Serena Williams is always a strong force. Who else should we be considering on the ladies' draw as a potential champion?
It's always difficult to say with the ladies, because all of a sudden you have people that you're not expecting who pop up and have a go at one slams. I think the big rivalry at the moment, it's still between Kerber and Serena. Difficult to know what their form is. I mean, Kerber lost obviously to Svitolina in quarterfinals in Brisbane last week, but it doesn't mean that she's not ready for Melbourne, where she'll be defending her title. I mean, they had such an amazing final last year with Serena, and Serena the same. You never know. I mean, if she's in good shape, if she's in form, she could just blow it all. But at the others, it's always difficult to know who will all of a sudden be ready to make a surprise, or sorry for my English sometimes, to pop up and be there in the final rounds. It'd be interesting. I can't draw a name at the moment. You never know. You never know
it. You know, last year you had, I think Muguruza won a title. Different people have been winning titles in the ladies' draw recently, and obviously Serena's still a force. One of the bits of news which came across over the winter, over the Christmas period, was Serena's engagements. Now, is that going to affect her at all?
Good questions. I don't know her well enough to comment on that. I mean, I don't know. I should think that it shouldn't affect her. I mean, if she's still playing, it means she still have the motivation. If her private life should take off her motivation, I mean, she would retire. But she started in '95. Can you imagine? It was 22 years ago. So if she's still here, it means that she's still eager to try and get her 23rd Grand Slam. So I don't think that should make a difference, but you never know. And again, I don't know her well enough to comment on that, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. You always wondered when Djokovic had his first baby, when Federer had his baby, when Murray's had his baby. You always kind of wondered, is this going to affect their playing career? And in fact, they then started winning even more. It's amazing.
Exactly.
Isabelle, it's been great to talk to you this morning, all about the Australian Open. Just before you go, why don't you give us some details of how we can follow your work and anything, any of your channels on social media, please?
Excuse me, say that again.
Yeah, just before you go, could you tell us how we can follow your work, what you're up to, and also how we can find you on social media like Twitter, Facebook, anything like that, please?
I have a Twitter account and Instagram, and I give some usually news mostly on Twitter, sometimes some photos on Instagram, and can read some of my piece on the website of Le Temps and RTS.
Wonderful. We will do, and we'll look at it closely throughout the Australian Open while it's going on from Melbourne from Monday. Isabelle Musy, thank you so much for being on Sportuccino this morning.
You're welcome. Welcome. Bye. Have a good day.
You too. So what do you think? Who do you think is going to win the Australian Open, both on the men's side and on the women's side? I'd love for you to get involved on the Facebook page and on the Periscope page. Give us your predictions. Now we have great guests on Sportuccino every single morning. Yesterday we spoke to Radha Balani, the Director of Business Development for London Sport. And she told us about how the Sports Technology Innovation Fund is helping get Londoners more active. Have a look at my interview with her.
Previously on Sportuccino.
With the Mayor of London, we have a fund called the Sport Technology Innovation Fund, and through that we've invested in a number of small startups to see if they can test their ideas. So one really exciting one that I love is one called Fan Active. And it's part of the football clubs in London and their charitable arms. And they've harnessed that idea of being competitive and wanting to represent your club by getting their fans to compete against each other in terms of the number of steps that they do. And there's a little league table, and you sort of feel like you're representing your club. You make social engagements and have connection, and you're moving at the same time, which is great.
There's more great knowledge from Radha on our website, sportuccino.com. Go back and watch that full interview. Now, it's amazing what they're trying to do. They're trying to get 1 million Londoners more active by 2020. And we try to do the same inspiring on this show. And we like to do that using a thing called Goal of the Day on our Snapchat page. And that's basically where I set myself daily goals, hoping that you'll be able to do something yourself so you can help try and reach what you want to achieve. And so let's have a look at what my goal of the day is today. I've not made it to the gym for the last 2 days, so that is the goal of the day. Today's goal is just to make it to the gym, where I'm going to be doing my cardio blast workout. So this cardio blast workout includes a 600 meter run as fast as I can, 10 burpees, 10 hanging knee raises, 15 medicine ball slams, 10 balance board push-ups and 15 squat jumps. And we do that 4 times. Oof, that's my goal of the day. What's yours? Let me know. So that is the goal of the day. Check us out on Snapchat at Sportuccino. Add us. See if I complete my goal. Maybe send me what your goal of the day is as well. All right, as well as covering all things to do with sports, health, nutrition, everything like that, we also like to travel. I've been to over 30 countries in the world and picked up some pretty good tips along the way. So why don't you have a look at today's travel tip. Well, today's tip is not actually my tip. It was a tip given to me by Elizabeth Elliott. I opened this up to my personal Facebook page for any good travel tips. And as I don't have children myself, I got a fantastic tip for children when you're traveling. And that is to take Ziploc bags, because Ziploc bags hold clean clothes and it saves spares from leaking. And also, it can contain puke. If the kids puke, and you can put that in there, and it keeps the clothes clean and keeps everything dry. I think that's a fantastic tip from Elizabeth Elliott. It is keep Ziploc bags. That's a very good tip. That is today's travel tip. And of course, it wouldn't be a Sportuccino unless I told you about the latest trends in sports products as health, nutrition, technology, everything related to that. So here is today's sports, health and fitness product review. Today's actually an oldie but a goodie. You may remember a few months ago, well just before Christmas, we had the sports journalist Keir Radnich on the show. A real leader when it comes to knowledge about world soccer. And I actually want to talk about the digital edition of World Soccer magazine. It's on the iPad, you can download it, you can get a year's worth subscription. They actually offer you a 30-day trial, and it comes out once a month. And they have journalists from around the world, top journalists from the likes of Sid Lowe, Paddy Agnew, It's a very, very good read. Some of you may remember of buying the actual magazine version from your WH Smiths or your local newsagents, but now you can get it straight onto your iPad, really easy. So you can wake up, you can go, I want to learn about what's going on in football in Brazil. I want to learn what's going on football in China, for example. It's going to be a great source of information about the Africa Cup of Nations as well. We're going to be talking more about that on Sportuccino on Friday, but you know, this is lovely. Easy just to, well, I would say easy to flick through. There we go. Easy to flick through. So much great information, fantastic pictures, so much to follow here. Really good read, really full of good statistics, similar to what we have on our Instagram page at Sportuccino. Fantastic journalists. I can't highly recommend it more. You know, my passion for sports, broadcasting and sports and football and global sport, a lot of it comes thanks to world soccer. You know, you've got Paul Gardner, for example, with fantastic articles. And the fact it's now on iPad, that's really, really good. So check that out. That is the World Soccer Digital Edition. Go and download and take a look at it. Do you use World Soccer? Let me know on the Facebook page and on the Periscope page. I would love to hear from you. Talking about soccer, we haven't spoken much about Liverpool losing to Southampton in the first leg of the EFL Cup. What did you make of their display? Jurgen Klopp pretty much admitting that it was pretty lackluster display from his team. Went 1-0 down to Southampton. Nathan Redmond with the only goal. They've got the second leg still to come. Not the ideal form going into their big match against Manchester United this weekend. United, of course, they got a 2-0 win over Hull on Tuesday. They're in really good form, unbeaten in quite a while. Where do you see that match going, people? Is it going to be United? Is it going to be Liverpool? United, as I mentioned, on really good form. Liverpool got a few players injured. Of course, Sadio Mane going to the Africa Cup of Nations as well. They're going to be missing him. So is this a good time for United to be playing Liverpool? We'll be discussing more of that on Friday's Sportuccino. We would love to get your views and your opinions on all of that. All right, we've nearly reached the end of the show. Let's have a quick reminder of today's sports headlines. A Nathan Redmond goal gives Southampton a 1-0 advantage over Liverpool after the first leg of the EFL Cup semi-final. Chelsea get permission for a new 60,000 capacity Stamford Bridge. Floyd Mayweather says he's willing to come out of retirement to face Conor McGregor if he's paid $100 million. And Russell Westbrook's 18th triple-double of the season gives Oklahoma City Thunder a 103-95 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies. So that's it. We've reached the end of another Sportuccino. It was really good to hear from Isabelle Musy this morning talking about the Australian Open. What do you think? Who do you think is going to win that title in Melbourne? Will it be Djokovic? Will it be Murray? Will it be Federer? Will it be Nadal? Will it be Wawrinka? Could it be someone else? What about in the ladies' draw? Could it be Kerber? Could it be Serena Williams? I would love to get your thoughts on all of that. Continue the conversation on our Twitter page at Sportuccino. On tomorrow's show, we will look more in detail at that Manchester United versus Liverpool game. We will also have a fantastic preview on the Africa Cup of Nations. It starts on Saturday in Gabon and we'll be going live to South Africa with the African sports broadcaster Oluwashina. He's a fantastic guest that we've got coming up on the show. Don't miss that. We're live on YouTube, Facebook and on Periscope from 8 GMT. It's been so great to hear you. If you've enjoyed the show, please share it with your friends. Help us grow. And if you haven't already, please like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to us on iTunes. All right, I've been Richard Parr and I'll be back with you on Sportuccino from tomorrow morning.